Have you ever felt that your dog treats you differently from everyone else? They're happy to accept treats from guests. They enjoy being petted and playing with many different people. But then there are those small moments that make you realize something more special is happening. The moment you walk into the room, their entire body seems to change. A single glance from you is enough to calm them down. Many people call this loyalty. Some call it affection, but canine behavior science suggests the truth goes much deeper than that. There are certain behaviors dogs don't reserve for everyone they like. They save them for one person only, the person they see as the safest place in their world. And what's fascinating is that most dog owners witness these signs every day without ever realizing what they truly mean. Stay until the end of this video, because the final sign may completely change the way you see the relationship between you and your dog. And the first sign often appears in moments that most of us completely overlook. Watch your dog when they're in a room full of people. They may wander around freely. They may accept treats from others. They may happily play, socialize, and enjoy being petted. But every now and then they'll do something very small. They'll look back at you. Just a quick glance. A brief check to see where you are. Many people assume it's just coincidence. But in canine psychology, this behavior is known as social referencing. In simple terms, your dog is using you as an emotional anchor to evaluate the world around them. If you're calm, the environment feels safer. If you're still there, everything seems okay. If your face and body show no signs of danger, their nervous system begins to relax. That's why a dog can be friendly with everyone in the room and still keep looking back at you. They're not asking for permission. They're not checking whether they're allowed to keep playing. What they're really doing is confirming the location of the person they trust most. In their own unique way, that tiny glance is saying, as long as I can still see you, I know everything is okay. But what researchers discovered next is even more remarkable. Because when that special person comes home, a dog's reaction goes far beyond a simple glance. And that brings us to the second sign, one of the clearest indications that you are someone truly special in your dog's world. There's a huge difference between a dog that is happy to see someone and a dog that can barely contain its emotions when you walk through the door. With other people, they may wag their tail, their ears may perk up, they may show excitement. But when their favorite person comes home, their entire body seems to join the celebration. Their tail wags so hard that their hips start moving with it. Their body bends toward you. Some dogs spin in circles, some bounce around with endless energy, and some perform that adorable full-body wiggle, as if joy is flowing from the tip of their nose all the way to the end of their tail. Many people assume this is simply happiness, but the reality goes deeper than that. When you leave, your dog's world doesn't fall apart. They still eat, sleep, and go about their day. But something important is temporarily missing. The person who brings stability, the person who creates a familiar daily rhythm, the person who makes them feel safe. So when you return, their body isn't just expressing excitement, it's releasing the tension that built up while they were waiting. In a deeply touching way, that greeting is almost like saying, "You're back. My world feels complete again." But what dogs do next may be even more meaningful than that burst of excitement, because there is something they only dare to do with the person they trust most. And that's where we arrive at the third sign. A sign that many people see every single day, yet rarely understand its true meaning. It's when your dog shows you their most vulnerable side. A dog may bring a toy to almost anyone. They may happily lie beside a stranger. They may ask many different people for attention and affection. But there are certain moments they reserve only for the person they trust most. They fall into a deep sleep beside you. They turn their back toward you. They rest their head on your leg and let out a long, relaxed sigh. At first glance, these behaviors seem completely ordinary, but in the animal world, they are incredibly powerful signals. Deep sleep is one of the most vulnerable states any animal can be in. Turning their back means they're no longer watching for potential threats behind them. Completely relaxing their body means letting go of vigilance. A dog's survival instincts constantly remind them to stay alert. So when a dog willingly becomes vulnerable in your presence, Their body is communicating something that words never could. I don't need to be on guard here. I know I'm safe. This isn't just comfort, it's trust made visible. If your dog has ever fallen asleep peacefully beside you or rested their head on your lap, comment 1 below. Because what dogs do next with the person they love most surprised scientists even more. And that brings us to one of the most fascinating behaviors dogs reserve for their favorite person, the 4th sign. They memorize your smallest movements. You shift slightly on the couch, your dog immediately lifts their head. You take a deep breath before standing up. They already know you're about to go somewhere. You pick up a familiar pair of shoes, and somehow they seem to understand the entire story before your hand even reaches the doorknob. Many people call this intuition, but in reality, it's the result of thousands of hours of observation. Researchers have found that dogs are exceptionally skilled at reading subtle human movements. They learn to recognize patterns that appear before important events. The way you walk toward the hallway, the way your hand moves before it's time for a walk, the way your body rhythm changes before you leave the house or get ready for bed. What's especially interesting is that they don't observe everyone this closely. They reserve this level of attention for the person who matters most to them, because that person becomes the center of their routine, emotions, and sense of security. While you're simply living an ordinary day, your dog is quietly building a personal dictionary about you. Not because they're obsessed with you, but because understanding you helps them feel safer in their world. And the final sign may be the most touching of all, because it reveals how your dog truly sees you when the world around them feels uncertain or frightening. And that brings us to the final sign, perhaps the most beautiful sign of all. When dogs feel uncertain, they turn to you. Pay attention to what happens when there's a strange noise at the door. A new object suddenly appears in the house, or your dog finds themselves in a situation they don't quite understand. Instinctively, they'll look toward the source of the disturbance first. But dogs who share a deep bond with their owner often do something else as well. They look back at you, as if they're asking a silent question. Is everything okay? Are we safe? What's remarkable is that your reaction becomes important information for them. If you remain calm, their anxiety often decreases. If your voice is gentle, they begin to relax. If you confidently move forward, they'll often follow. That doesn't mean your dog thinks you're perfect. It means that through thousands of ordinary moments, they've learned that you're the most reliable person in their life. And that's how dogs choose their favorite person. Not the one who gives the most treats, not the one who spoils them the most, but the one who makes them feel safe again and again. So the next time your dog scans a room to find you, falls asleep peacefully beside you, or looks back at you when they're feeling unsure, remember that those aren't random behaviors. They're their way of saying, out of everyone in this world, I choose you. If you love your dog, be sure to like and subscribe for more canine psychology stories, because the more we understand them, the more we realize just how deeply they love us.